Welcome to Edessa the Dark Crusade. Once again, night falls, and recently there's been new visitors in the city. Emissaries, travelers from the great city of Constantinople. Madeline uh, has had a couple of interactions with some of these people, and tonight she's going to again wear the gift she had given to her by the ranking member of this. Well, I don't know if diplomatic mission is the right word, but something to that effect. Please
Delegation.
go ahead.
No, just it's a delegation.
Ah, right. Is Ivan Sewell with her to begin with? Or, well, maybe he's lurking in the shadows around her. She doesn't know. Who knows?
I think they begin together, and I think that despite the fact that they have one of the most unlikely friendships in the city, they're not afraid to show uh, their relationship over it. So Ivan will be with Madeline.
The two of them are walking, um, fairly hurriedly, but not running. Uh, Madeline will just. So, tell me, Ivan, have you met any of the representatives of Rome yet?
None. I've been preoccupied as late. I've not had a chance to see any of the new visitors.
Well, soon enough. Soon enough, you will be able to see quite a lot of it. Um, it's clear that as they're approaching, there's a bit. I'm guessing it's a bit more busy than it normally is this round. Like it is outside the city, so
You've had
and I'm guessing that you can hear quite a lot of commotion and noise.
yeah, the southwest gate has been basically kept open because of this. The they're not too worried about the Byzantine army. They certainly don't expect any fighting from them, as though it's a fairly formidable force and does include Vagarian Guard and Cataphracts. They would probably not succeed against the combined armies of Edessa. So yeah, there is an increased city watch presence, but aside from that, there is in this camp there are various people going backwards and forwards. Merchants and traders seem to want to be courting them. All in all hangers-on combined, the group is easily over 100 people.
Before they get into the camp proper, Madeline will just say, "Look, Evan, it is not to say that I know that you are quite a noble gentleman, but do be extra careful what you say. The situation with them is
So
quite delicate. Uh, they are, well, they are of course not opposed to the prince, but they are, well, maybe they have some conflict of interest. This would make it most delicate, so watch your word even more than normal. Just a friendly warning."
Speak of the devil and he shall appear.
I shall take your lead in all things, as always, Sister Madeline.
Well, you can speak your mind if you wish. I'm merely saying that this situation is a bit more, well, complicated than normal. But please, come along. And they begin to enter the camp proper. Um,
A small palisade has been set up. around a farmhouse that is essentially being taken over by them. You see the magnificent sight of the cataphracti as you enter. These horsemen are riding huge black destriders, plated armor, scaled armor rather, over their horses. This is something extraordinarily impressive. The Crusaders are, or the Franks rather, are no stranger, of course, to mounted horsemen, but these are incredibly opulent and well armored. And yeah, it's all a hustle and a bustle. People seem to be going about their business. They seem to be, as you're well aware, preparing for a feast. And yeah, that's what you see. People don't really pay you too much attention, but they don't hinder you either.
Is there a way to see where some of these? Madeline is looking for especially the gangrel, because she thought that there was something off, and she wants to make sure that he's not as uncomfortable as she might have thought she was. Thought he was, but there's no way to see that. So if she sees anyone she recognizes, she'll go over and talk to them. If not, she will just begin to go around, keeping her distance.
As you are walking around, you actually do see the figure that you recognized as being a gentleman who was introduced as Ivar Rurikson. And he is essentially among some other Vigarians who appear to be off duty and are sitting around a fire, shooting the shit. They basically just seem to be eating and shooting the shit, and he's just with them. A gentleman that looks like this.
She will stand at a distance, and she will just fairly gently just call out his name and just, excuse me, Eva, can I have a word?
He turns around and looks at you. Says something, kind of laughs, and says something to the rest of the group, and they all kind of laugh. And he says, "Can't you see I'm busy? Come back another time."
Very well. Enjoy your evening.
And yeah. What do you want to do?
Madeline will, as she's walking away, she seems a little pissed. But she's aware of, well, two or three different angles to this, so she's not going to press it, especially not in front of dudes, like lots of dudes. They might not think it, like, they would probably be a little suspicious if she began to command or want to speak with him. If he doesn't want to speak with her, well, fine. She's gotten confirmation that he probably doesn't, he probably is a bit put off, but that's fine. She is going to look for any of the others, really.
Looking around, there doesn't appear to be too many others. Yeah. Kind of yeah, the camp's are fairly busy, but you can't really see any of the rest, or at least you can't at first, until you see a figure who looks like this, although albeit without the ham, waddle out of a tent, and you recognize him as being the Semise scribe.
Mm.
and he basically is waddling with a group of retainers of some variety, look like some kind of administrators or bureaucrats. They're all dressed in the Byzantine way, opulently. To Madeline and Ivan's Frankish eyes, they would look quite decadently, almost slightly effeminately. And yeah, they will basically just be waddling about, and he appears to be telling them to do some stuff and sending them off on various errands.
When an opportunity presents itself, she's not going to budge in at this point. But when the opportunity presents itself that he's done with someone and most of them are away, she will try to get his attention and just say, "Good evening."
He will look up, a bit annoyed at being interrupted at first, and then seeing that you are in fact a member of the Council of Edessa, he will smile and dismiss the rest of the people out of hand. And he will say, "Ah, my seneschal, good to see you. Please, you will come inside and we can talk properly, no?"
Of course.
He is corpulently fat. His skin looks sallow, like he's maybe, I mean, saying he's not seen the light of day is fairly obvious, but even in his mortal times, maybe hasn't seen the light. There's a slightly greenish tinge to it. He looks extraordinarily unhealthy, basically. And he will invite you into one of the more posh-looking tents. You and Ivan both. And once inside, will say, "I'm sorry, if you had sent word, I would have had somebody come and meet you at the gate, and they would have invited you straight in."
No, no, no. Well, I am sorry to come and announce that. No, you are a busy person. I would not want to interrupt your, your normal duties.
I
It
am not
was.
so busy. I can always make time to meet with our honored hosts.
I thank you very much for this. I just, your good friend, well, your associate, Ivar, um, he's sitting out there by the fire. I noticed when we met that I might have put him off, or he was, well, he was quite affected by some of the things I said, or maybe my family's association.
Oh, no, of course not, my dear. Nothing of the sort. He simply finds these meetings boring. He is an uncouth brute of a man.
Oh, well, I came here mostly to make sure that he is not, that I do not insult him or anything of that matter. That would be something I would want to rectify, but
Systematically.
apparently not.
Honorable Christian ladies as yourself should not concern yourself with the opinions of barbarians such as him. He is not. Who knows what offends these people? They have wrong gods. However, he is an extraordinarily capable fighter and keeps my lady safe on the road. So,
He is of the north.
from what I understand, he still holds to the old gods, even while the Baltic regions are being turned to Christianity. But we will allow some people their, how do you say, indulgences.
Oh, allow me to introduce you, by the way, to Mr. Ivan Zul. And she will just make it so that the two can get like a handshake or something.
He will, he will bow, and then if offered a handshake, he will shake your hand. His handshaking method is best described as a wet sock in a cup. He absolutely does not grip your hand. He just kind of, it's a fairly limp-wristed handshake. Please, why don't we sit down and we can talk properly?
Ignore that. So,
Pardon?
goes off.
I didn't catch what you said, buddy. Sorry.
I take him up on his offer. I'm going to sit down.
How are you?
Madeline does the same.
So, what brings you here? We are preparing for the feast. It
And
will be a
I'm
great honor.
well. I'm looking forward to with much anticipation. Um, I have well, myself with you. I have a query that you might help me with.
Of course, in any way I can be of assistance, I will be.
The dragon, the sons of the dragon they are skilled in, well, you have your powers that are quite unique to you.
As to the Sombra.
Well, it is right that it can change the body's structure, right? In more ways than one.
This mortal corpse is a canvas for Clan Simise. God has given us a beautiful gift, but we can bestow beauty further on the world.
My concern is that was used on me a little time ago, involuntarily. Thus, responsible was swiftly and quite effectively dealt with. But
This,
I am
this
not
is good.
too versed in what effects it has. At one point, I could not use my mouth. It was not there. And I would know, well, if you would be so gracious, would there be a way of knowing whether or not some of these effects are permanent? Or I wish to make sure that there is nothing remaining of something that was done without my approval and against my will.
Misuse of this most blessed power that the Great Lord has given us is a heinous crime. However, you say you could not use your mouth, and I see clearly now that your mouth is in good working order.
Well, it took some time, and well, blood was, well, I was able through the blood to reverse it, I suppose, but
The gifts that the clan Simise will bestow can be rectified by those of greater generation. Those of us closest to Cain can overcome and heal these gifts. However, if one of my clan was ever so barbaric and ungodly to purposefully inflict
it
the
was
art
not
of
of
his
your clan.
death,
Do not worry. It was worse, to be honest,
he
because it,
looks, when you say he's not of his clan, his eyes go very wide.
I mean, he says it was, he's saying that this was not one of your clan.
Another of my clan.
He was not a member of your clan.
I would know his name, please.
He is dead, and he was of the Katie.
Oh, my dear, you gave me quite a shock to hear that
Oh,
I
I'm
was
sorry.
warning.
I should not have done that to such an honorable gentleman. It was a bad point of, well, shock or thing I would want to do. Please excuse me, she says, as she's smiling to him, and she can tell that she wanted maybe to shock him.
As I'm sure the Le Sombre can understand, we do not share the gifts that have been given to us. They are what make us who we are. They have been given to us by God, and it is not ours to further extend this to others. I was worried that Edessa harbored maybe somebody who had learned this and was not of the blood, or maybe a Diabloist. But it is good to hear. The Caitiff are an unfortunate curse.
Well,
Better to put them out of their misery.
he was a Diablerist. Note that I say was, and him and his ilk is now dust. So,
I
Have
knew
no
it as
worries.
was a proper place. It is good to hear.
Hmm. It was, for me, it was just the first time I had encountered this quite breathtaking and well, wondrous thing. If used correctly, I suppose you could improve on the person's appearance, but it was quite horrifying when it was done to me without my
As,
will.
as with all gifts and all truly beautiful things, you can turn a good thing to evil if you have a sick soul. Some of my clan do. Drakon. The beauties he creates to show Michael, his lover, of his love, the love that goes into his creations. Truly, it makes me weep. When I see them, I want to claw my eyes out so that they will be the last thing I ever see.
I hope as I can be so lucky to once in my unlife look upon.
If they don't know, they will be greeted as honored guests. I'm quite sure you could meet the Draco. And maybe Michael, if his visions are not keeping him away from our yearning bosoms.
Mm. Well, I must thank you for putting my mind at ease. It has been. I do not believe we have any. We have a very new person who had come to our city from your clan, but well, else than that, I have never had the pleasure of really speaking to someone. But I will not pry anymore. I just wanted to make sure that nothing, no nasty or unwelcome surprises was looking for me.
No. There are those of my clan, those who cling to the Captain Mountains, who follow the old ways. They do not accept the dream, do not accept what the Dragon has shown us. It is quite a pity.
Mm.
But then again, I'm sure they would say the same of me. Both of you notice that his accent is slightly funny. It seems to be kind of modulating between uh, perhaps Bulgarian or kind of Eastern European and Greek. There's a kind of funny middle ground between the two. Maybe perhaps hinting at a heritage not entirely of Constantinople.
Well, as long as you follow the path and the way that speaks to your soul, no one will be able to blame you. No one will be able to put a finger on what you're doing. If you are convinced that what you do is right and honest,
What other reason did you come to see us? I can offer you counsel in any way I know. I am not a great warrior like Amatius or a gangrel friend outside, but I'm a learned man, at least in my own small way. If there is anything you wish to know, then I would put myself at your service, as our harpy has instructed us to.
well, I am quite sure we could learn each other much. But for the moment, those were the two things I needed to make sure of, and you have put my mind at ease, so officially I have nothing more. But I would be honored to be intrigued with the tales of Byzantium, Constantinople. Or, well, maybe an exchange of wisdom, perhaps?
Perhaps. I do have a question for you, if you would not mind. I have
Go
been
on.
told by Amatius that there is a toll paid by the city to Ezekiel in Jerusalem.
Yes. I believe I spoke with him a day, 2 days ago about it. That is true. Tax, but a bit different than normal taxes, I would say.
He smiles, and you can kind of see he's slightly distasteful, or you would think that's what he thinks of it. But what he says is, "All great empires have to tax their provinces. He is an ambitious man, this Ezekiel, and of course you honor him as his loyal subjects. However,
We live and die by his protection." Madeline says, quite diplomatically, as he might be able to tell.
we were surprised, we must admit. It is quite a indiscreet form of taxation, and quite, if you don't mind me saying, unchristian."
Well, Madeline stops mid-sentence and just says, "Well, he is the prince of the Holy Land, and we will, of course, do what he wishes. And, well, I cannot say I have much, well, experience with the agreements in other places, in other cities, what they would pay to their liege lord, but this is what he demands, so that is what he will receive. I wonder if it would have been different had we been under different administration." She smiles very widely as she says that.
I don't know, although I imagine so. Constantinople, the areas we control, Michael, they are most beneficent to them. We did not seek to drain them, but we are privileged. Constantinople is such a large city. We would have no need of additional souls. But it is good that he protects you. I'm sure he sends you a lot of assistance with your war against the Turkish raiders.
Does. Well, I suppose the recent war in Jerusalem has left them wanting of certain sustenance. And what Madeline just said, you're not. I mean, you can. He can tell that Madeline is not in any way convincing. She's just saying it because she has to. She's not. She's not hiding anything. Like she's more or less talking out of her ass.
Mm-hmm. Upon saying this, he smiles and doesn't want to press the issue any further and make Madeline uncomfortable. He turns to Ivan. How is Ivan dressed?
Ivan is he's just got a tabard over his kind of regular chainmail, iron mask, but no hood, nothing like that.
And brother, what is your position in Edessa? Oh, you and Madeline simply friends.
Well,
I am a friend and protector of Sister Madeline. I am a knight of the Order of St. Lazarus.
You are a lucky lady, my dear. Such a strong arm protecting you, and one blessed by our Lord also.
Indeed. He has once partaken in avenging certain things. He was one of the people who, shall we say, made sure that the caitiff did not escape. So I owe him much.
Good to hear.
Mm.
You will both be attending the feast, I hope.
I would not miss it.
Interestingly, the feast for your regent and our emissary of the Kine is taking much more preparation than the one that we were told. Our sustenance is much simpler.
Hmm. Uh, Pardon, does this mean that something has happened and something unfortunate or unforeseen, or is it just the
No,
difference?
merely a commentary. To
Ah,
impress a regent of a city, we need. Our chefs are working overtime to make these
ah.
preparations. Boiled quail,
Mm,
dormouse, otter nose, these delicacies
mm.
to impress. No such preparation is needed for those of us who are blessed. But of course, there will be the tournament. You will participate, Mr. Zul.
Of course.
I'm sure you will do a
And
lady much honor.
what will the compositions be?
Well, I believe there will be dance and song, artistry, archery, uh, a grand melee, and the joust, as the type that is fashionable in Frankish lands.
Hmm,
There will, of course,
very
during the
good.
day be one that we can hear of the great glories but not watch. And then in the evening we shall have one of our own.
Very good.
I am looking forward to it. Quite a lot. It is not every day that Sojourner guests greets one city. She looks at him for a bit.
Indeed.
Just, would it? You see this? What is involved in using this? Your clan's gift to not just close one's mouth more or less permanent, but to improve, make it, to make great beauty of people who are not so fortunate to be blessed by God in the creation of them. What is involved in this?
He smiles. The art of vicissitude is a difficult one to learn. First, you must learn on yourself. You must be your own canvas. And then, as the powers of the blood grow, you can impart your gifts to others.
Well, I was, of course, not suggesting that you give part of anything, but could one skilled enough do it to another?
Certainly, as I believe you have witnessed.
But
Many of the Toreador are great boons to my clan,
ah,
for to make themselves works of art.
but I Well, what was done to me was quite rash, but quite effective, but done fast. I am thinking that fawning the beauty of someone is a quite careful and quite meticulous job.
For somebody with as humble talents as me, it would. But you should see some of the others. Drakon and Sasha. They create artistry with a flick of the wrist. Truly, they are blessed. The Lord works through them.
Fascinating. But, and she looks at Ivan. Um, I would not wish to. Ivan, do you have any more? Do you have any questions?
No, it has been a pleasure meeting with you. I hope to see you again.
Good. I'm really thankful that you would take the time to speak to me. She gets up and bows. Please, have a good evening.
He will
And
stand also and walk you to the door.
hmm, the two, she will just wait for Ivan to get out.
Ivan will follow closely behind Madeline.
So, do you have anything you would wish to see? Have a look at the famed cataphracts, maybe? She points over to one of the quite magnificent armored horses.
Yeah, nothing special. Armored horses, yeah, just to see who's on an armored horse.
Well, please, would you indulge to indulge me and follow me as I just take a look at these magnificent things? And she puts out a hand
Yeah.
to for you to take, and yeah, the two of them will begin to walk and just look at things.
The soldiers, they do appear very disciplined. They don't harass you in any way. And yeah, if you approach one of them, one of the cataphract guards, them mounted on the back, holding a lance with the pendants, the purple and gold of the Empire of Rome. And they will allow you to pet the horse. It is quite an intimidating beast, though. And you see out of the corner of your eye the figure of Ivar, who is leaning against a pole. He appears to be chewing on something, and he spits on the ground. And he just appears to be casually watching you both.
Madeline will just look over at
Okay,
him.
well, Ivan will continue going about his business, accompanying Madeline, yeah, not paying any attention to Ivar whatsoever.
Yeah, Madeline will just have a look around and stuff. But I'm guessing he's just standing and keeping an eye on him.
He seems to be from a way off. He certainly doesn't look inviting or welcoming or at all friendly.
Hmm. At some point, Madeline will just go over to Ivan. Just, well, I think I will be heading back. It seems as though I will not have a word with Ivar today. He seems to be want to be left alone for the moment.
Not the most, they're not the most hospitable of groups, are they?
Well, he might have good reasons. Might have been slighted by some other places he has visited in a similar matter, and now has a healthy distance to people. I cannot say I blame him. I do not know what has befallen him. Come. Um, let us go back. And she will just begin to go back with Mr. Zool.
He
You don't
figure we'll
come.
just watch. We'll just watch you leave. Doesn't make any aggressive moves or anything towards you, but yeah.
Okay. Well, Ivan will leave with Madeleine and escort her back to a location of choice. Right?
As they're getting back to the city, Madeline will, Ivan, it is good to, it's good to see that you come around, but there is also a thing I now remember that I must speak to you of. Have you talked with the sheriff recently?
Cosimo?
Indeed.
No, I can't say I've spoken with him ever.
Truly? Hmm. I would introduce you one day.
Indeed.
Ivan,
I think I would enjoy that.
I will set up a meeting because I think you would be quite useful in a official position. If you would be interested, of course.
It would be the second person to offer me the same in as many weeks. But I will give longer consideration to your offer in the previous.
Well, I see no reason why you should not be considered as a very loyal member, but also a quite good enforcer of the peace. The position that found, as far as I know, is not filled. I think this would suit you well to begin with.
You do me a great service and a recommendation.
I would put in a word, but of course, I would not have you do this before you have met Carsimo. I mean, if the two of you were at odds, it would be a difficult position to put you in, and I would not force you. But
Of course.
think of the proposition. If just, well, I would think it quite logical, but that is just my opinion.
Indeed. I shall give it thought, and I appreciate your counsel.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And the two of them will begin to continue through into the city. And as at one point, the two of them will go their separate ways. And as they go their separate ways, the scene will come to an end.